America's tourism crisis nobody's talking about. Foreign visitors are abandoning the U.S. in record numbers.
So, y'all know them travel advisory reports that the United States loves to push out, basically telling us to not go to certain places because they're violent or it's not safe. Yeah, so the Department of Commerce has now issued a report showing a growing list of countries advising their citizens to not come to the United States, to not come and visit the United States. Yeah, now we are not the safe country.
Australia, Canada, Germany, Denmark, France, the UK, and Finland all just issued travel advisory warnings against the United States. They don't think that it's safe for people from their country to travel to this hellhole, and they are absolutely right. Are we great yet? Is it cool when other countries are terrified of having their citizens visit here because they might end up in prison, and maybe they'll get murdered in a U.S. prison like that Canadian did just a couple of weeks ago, which I'm sure everyone's already forgotten about because every day is full of so much terrible news we can't even keep up with it. Donald Trump's America absolutely balls, and any person who says that they really like it right now is the kind of person who enjoys living in terror. There is some number of people who really enjoy authoritarianism, but I have to tell you guys a secret here. Nobody ends up doing great in an authoritarian regime. Exactly. Nobody ends up doing well. This doesn't end well for anyone.
On tourism, there's been a steep drop-off in international travel to the United States. It was down 12% last month, down even more from Western Europe. Why do you think that there are fewer people suddenly who want to travel to the United States?
Well, there could be a little, there's a little nationalism there, I guess, perhaps. It's not a big deal. And our dollar is a little bit on the low side, and that means that a lot of tourism is going to come in. But I could see a little bit nationalism at work, and I could see it likewise with us not wanting to go to certain countries, but that will work out very easily.
Do you think some people are scared to come here because they hear the stories of tourists who are detained for a few days or even a week or two?
No, we treat our tourists great. We're the tourism capital of the world. There's no place like this. And there may be a little bit of nationalism, but I doubt it. I actually doubt it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, we all know what it is happening in America. We are seeing how America, they are deporting illegal immigrant people from their country. We are seeing how the ICE, they are deporting, they are detaining people, they are deporting them back to their country without nothing. So because of this, right now we are seeing that nobody wants to visit America. So majority of people, majority of the countries, they have also tried to issue an advisory warning to their citizens not to go to America. And that's why we are coming out and find that American airport right now, they are empty. When you go and see the tourist area in America, you will find that it is not the same. People are not going to America. So kindly guys, I want you to watch these videos, this compilation of video, and see how America it is. Then I'll be back with more comment. I'm your host, Dash Lifestyle. Kindly remember to give a video a thumbs up. Remember, this video, it is only for educational purposes.
If you're Canadian, just stay home, okay? Don't go to the United States of Puerto Rico. Don't even attempt, okay? Just, if you're Canadian and you have a functioning brain with not too much mercury in it, you should avoid traveling to the United States of Puerto Rico at all cost. Yesterday, I got denied access in the United States. I thought this was meant for people who are criminals. You know, I thought it was for people who got criminal records, bad people, okay? Not me. I don't know what the heck is suspicious about me, but yesterday I got denied access trying to catch a flight to Florida, okay? Mind you, I did not even want to go. Isn't that funny? Like, in my guts, like, it felt wrong. Like, I didn't want to go. But I already had plans to pets it, you know? The booking was done. The deal was done. I had to pets it. I was doing it for the pets. But then the agent at Border Control told me that I was taking somebody else's job by pet sitting in Puerto Rico, and that the owner should hire a U.S. citizen. I was like, this is not really what you're thinking, because this is a very well organized website / application where people get to travel and pet sit worldwide, you know, in exchange of staying in houses for free. She's like, nah. And what is it again that you do for a living? I'm like, I'm a content creator, you know, UGC and everything. She's like, that's not a stable income. I'm like, actually, you're right, but you know, I eat. She like, nah, next time you want to come here, bring your pay stubs, bring your bank statement, bring proof that you have ties to Canada. I'm like, what do you want? Like my lease or something? She's like, yes, that would be a good proof. In my head, I'm like, I know this bird don't think I'm trying to flee my beautiful Canadian country to go in this Trump fest Puerto Rico. Where they give shit to citizens. Now, what? Listen, at that point, I heard enough. I'm pretty sure she had heard enough. And I agreed with her. She's like, I'm denying you access. I'm like, thank you. Okay? Like, thank you for reminding me that I should not even try to cross your border. Like, thank you for knocking some sense back into my head.
Fly back to Vegas. Everybody's got their own row. It's like unheard of. So freaking sweet, dude. I'm so stoked. It's like empty, totally empty. It's so crazy.
The White House was recently bragging that border crossings are at an all-time low. Why is that? Oh, that's right. Because no one's coming to America anymore. You know, our current government isn't exactly the friendliest to people that don't speak the King's English. It's not just illegal border crossings that are down. International tourism in the United States has fallen like a rock. In March, overseas arrivals dropped by more than 11% compared to the year before. Western Europe saw a 17% decline. The Americas down 24%. Flights that used to be packed are now running real light. The reason behind these declines is pretty simple. The global perception of the United States has changed recently since the election. His threats, along with horror stories of travelers to the States, have led European nations, along with Canada, to issue travel advisories to the United States. These tourists no longer feel safe or welcome by our current government. This isn't just about the loss of tourism. Those tourists bring jobs, and those jobs are going to be lost, along with tips, and the businesses are going to struggle. Some of them are going to close. Cities like Orlando, New York, Las Vegas are already feeling the effects of the lack of travelers. If this trend continues, the U.S. could lose up to $180 billion in GDP by June of 2026. It's not just immigrants that aren't coming anymore. No one wants to come here.
So I did a thing today. Actually, I canceled a thing today. Have a look. Yeah. In April, I was supposed to go to New York for a vocal workshop with a bunch of people, and I canceled the trip today. Canceled my trip. I just, as a Canadian, in good conscience, I just couldn't justify going. Now, there's a bunch of different reasons, but I saw what happened to Jasmine Mooney, and I'm seeing videos about when you go to the border, they're checking everything, and I just, my spidey senses just started tingling. And I don't know. Call it intuition. I don't know what it is. But there's something that I just didn't feel right about. Not to mention how Canada is being treated. And it sucks. I love New York. It's like one of my favorite cities in the whole wide world. And the people are great. And the food's great. The history's great. And everything's great. And it sucks. I want to go so bad. And I love all the Americans, the Blue Dots, who have been so supportive of Canada during this time. But I just couldn't do it. So it sucks. I canceled it today, so here we are. But you know what, New York? In the words of Jonathan Groff of Hamilton, you'll be back. Soon you'll see, and I can't wait. Someday. I'll come back someday, New York. But yeah, cancel my trip. Apple's up.
Hey guys, I'm here in the Orlando airport and there's not a single soul in here. Guys, airports are 24/7. I don't think you have ever seen this in Orlando. This is like one of the most busiest. Oh my God, look at this. I could show you down the hallway. Nobody, guys. I have never seen this before in my life. Look at this, the tram, not a single soul. Guys, this is scary. Anyways, guys, I just thought I'd tell you, this is one of the most busiest airports because of Disney, obviously, right? Disney. Guys, there's nobody in here. Everything is closed down. What's going on? This is the first time I've ever seen this in my life. Guys, let me know in the comments if you ever seen the Orlando airport, Orlando, this dead before. Guys, this is scary. Anyways, guys, I am filming this. Look at this. Look at the tram. Not a single soul. Guys, there's nobody waiting in the hallways. There's nobody in the restaurants. Everything is closed. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of scared. I gotta go. All right, bye.
Visitors are even being told by their home countries to take their vacations and money elsewhere.
Do you feel like your friends and family feel comfortable traveling there?
No. Nobody I know back in England or here.
And then the police can take them and just take them to a country outside the States, and then they're not a protected citizen anymore.
Horror stories are emerging of treatment at the border, with one story so shocking it's got many asking if America is still safe.
I think the atmosphere is changing there, so I would prefer to go there. I'd probably stay in Europe.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So tourism season is upon us. And I can tell you what the United States is seeing. The United States is seeing a huge dramatic drop in international visitors to the United States. Now, those visitors contribute millions to billions of dollars of tourism dollars all across the United States, and specifically heavily in Florida, because everybody undoubtedly in Europe thinks that Florida is that Disneyland is the greatest place in the world to go. I don't understand that, but Florida's getting hammered on the tourism end, but it's also across the entire United States. Now, 18 million jobs are in the tourism industry. And when you're starting to lose billions of dollars, what you're going to do is you're going to lose jobs. You're going to lose revenues for small businesses. You're going to lose hotel motel taxes that support some things in local government. So the real deal is here. The world doesn't want to come to the United States, which has always been one of the top tourist destinations in the world. We're going to lose that title this year, and we know who we can owe that to. Congratulations on reducing the income for businesses that rely on tourism.
So, y'all know them travel advisory reports that the United States loves to push out, basically telling us to not go to certain places because they're violent or it's not safe. Yeah, so the Department of Commerce has now issued a report showing a growing list of countries advising their citizens to not come to the United States, to not come and visit the United States. Yeah, now we are not the safe country. So I'm reading from an article that you can find on Forbes.com, right? So it says that the United States government reported a double-digit overall drop in international arrivals last month, with much bigger losses coming from Canada, Mexico, and lucrative Western Europe markets, suggesting foreign tourists are staying away in significant numbers due to the tariff backlash and even harsher immigration tactics. So I'm just going to read off some of these statistics. So in the Caribbean, they have seen a 26% drop from visitors and tourists. Africa, 10% drop. South America, 11% drop. Central America, 24% drop. Asia is a 1% drop. And now the two largest governments, or the two largest European markets, the United Kingdom is down 15%, and then Germany is down 29%. These governments are telling their citizens to not come over to the United States, not visit the United States, in fear that ICE agents will detain their citizens and not bring them back to their native land, which we see is the case here in this administration. If they come here, God forbid, get detained by ICE, ICE will not allow them to prove that they're visiting, will not allow them to prove their visas. They will most likely send them to a detention center and then ship them over to El Salvador's mega prison, just like they did with that teenage New York Bronx kid that's actually from Venezuela. Instead of deporting him to his native country, they deported him to the mega prison. Yeah, that's what they don't want to happen. Because if that happens, there's no way for people, their actual family and their government to even be made aware of what's going on, because ICE agents will not inform nobody. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was actually questioned on this yesterday during a press conference, to which she said, I haven't even seen the report. I haven't even seen the report. As the White House Press Secretary, is that not your job? Is that not your job to be aware and to manage the reputation of the government? Instead, she decided to say, while I haven't seen the reports and I would have to read it in order for me to effectively comment, I do believe that the administration that we're in right now is so much safer and so much better than the one that we were in previously 4 years ago. So I don't know why they would be advising their citizens to not come over here. It's because of this administration's policy and their harsh immigration tactics. That's why. These are tourists that often have to come over here on a visa. ICE agents are not allowing people to even prove their legal status. Why would anybody come over here? Just so you know, the United States makes $2 trillion in tourism. $2 trillion that we're starting to lose now. And that $2 trillion is tied up in the United States GDP, which is part of the reason why the US dollar is the world's reserve currency. That goes down. I think you know where I'm going with this. So now, thanks to this administration and all of its dumb policies, we are facing a possible recession, inflation. The entire world globally is laughing and mocking our democracy and our government. We are now starting to lose profit that we make on tourism. And as a New York City native, I'm not going to lie, we could use a little less tourism here in New York City. But overall, for American economy, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. Maybe if this administration wasn't too worried with trying to rack up and rally as many free slaves to ship over to that mega prison in El Salvador, we wouldn't have to be dealing with this. Just saying.
This is the second part video to my experience with being held in a federal prison overnight. Obviously spent the night in prison. I barely slept. I was very anxious. I didn't know, I couldn't have any contact with the outside world, so I had no idea whether my mum knew where I was, if anybody knew that I was being deported. So it was one of those situations where you have no control, you don't know what is going on, and if I'm being quite honest with you, I didn't even know if I was going to get out the next day. I kept having to ask people, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because I remember just being in this headspace of like, I'm going to be sent somewhere and I'm never going to get out of this situation. Another thing that was really hard for me to comprehend at the time, and it was something that I just was not understanding, was when I was being processed in custody, the officer told me, which was they were part of the jail. So at this point, the CBP officers had left and I was just talking to the prison officers, and he told me, like, don't worry, you're not getting a criminal record, you're not being charged with anything, you're not under arrest. And I remember sitting there saying, like, if this is the case, why am I here for? Like, I'm in prison. I am being cavity strip searched, I'm being fingerprinted, photos are being taken of me, I'm signing documents. Like, why am I being processed in a jail for? Like, what you're saying and my environment, they're just not making sense and they're not lining up. So it was something that was like, that's why when I was in the prison, I didn't believe that I was going to be getting out the next day, because I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like, none of this makes any sense. So after spending the whole night in prison, I was then picked up by CBP officers the next day, taken back to the airport. I was handcuffed again and walked through the airport. So the exact same process occurred. And then I was put into a room until I had to board my flight at 12 p.m. I was flying Hawaiian Airlines. And I still hadn't spoken to my family up until a few hours before I boarded the plane. And that was because my family called the CBP office. So after all those hours, no Border Patrol official person had reached out to my mom or reached out to my husband and said, hey, this is where your daughter's been taken overnight. Like, they had not said anything. They have not said a word. There is a lot more that I want to add into these videos, but for now, I just wanted to pretty much explain what happened to me upon me leaving the airport and arriving at prison. There are a lot of different interactions that occurred while I was in there, but I just wanted to outline like the process and what happened from the airport to the prison.
The craziest news of the day is coming out of Aria, guys. Aria Hotel and Casino, Aria Resorts. This hotel in Las Vegas really charged their guests $26 for a bottle of water that they put inside the mini fridge in the room. And exact same water sells for just $7 downstairs at Starbucks, or just $4 at CVS right outside the hotel. And it is 24-hour CVS. You can buy the entire case of water for $10 from CVS. And this guest paid $26 for one bottle of water. And the crazy part is he had no idea how much that water cost. He found out about it after the fact when the mini bar lady showed up to his hotel to restock. Now he's making them regret by dragging them all over social media, from Reddit to Twitter to TikTok. Every social media has this one as their top story. Even Las Vegas Review Journal is covering it. That is the biggest newspaper in Las Vegas, is covering this story. Now you see all these hotels complaining about how tourism is down, and then they do stuff like this, and then they act surprised when people don't want to come back. There really is no justification for this except the fact that these corporations being extremely greedy, because this is the kind of price that you normally see at the high-end nightclubs, where they would justify high prices by telling you they have to pay their celebrity DJ or the artist and the venue. It's a lot of things that go into it. But this is just a normal hotel room, a normal mini fridge, and you just wanted some water and they are punishing you for it. I hope they issue an apology and refund this guy his money, because this is not right. This is not good. If it is so expensive for them to provide this service, why not just completely not do it? That way the guest actually knows there is no fridge or water in the room, and they make sure to get water before they come back to their room. And now the guest is pissed, and now everybody hates your hotel. And I don't think this is a good business.
Here's some Las Vegas breaking news that hasn't made the news yet. MGM Resorts just told all of their concierge employees across all of their properties, with the exception of Aria and Bellagio, that they are being laid off. This is a couple weeks after laying off the valet, doorman, and bellman at Excalibur and announcing the closure of the Luxor buffet. We know that travel and tourism is down. Aside from global issues and the Canadians boycotting us, many Americans fear that we are headed for a recession and they are tightening up their spending. But what's going on at MGM feels a little bit bigger than that. Multiple executives in recent months have resigned or are rumored to be considering resignation, with small downsizings and rumors of more occurring at multiple properties. This is after raising resort fees and parking fees twice in 2024. Fees keep going up and amenities are being scaled back. It feels like everyone's trying to be tight-lipped about this, but I think we need to talk about it. Are more layoffs coming? Is this a sign of the times? Let me know what you think and follow me for all the Vegas.
Okay,
quick story time. Went to Vegas 3 weeks ago for March Madness with my husband. Little getaway. We go at least 4 times a year. Leaving on a Friday night is iffy because Vegas is just popping on Friday nights. However, March Madness, Friday night, flying in to an empty airport. Walked right in the taxi line. There's no line. Get in the taxi, ask the taxi driver, where is everybody? He goes, it's been like this. It's been like this for a long while. And he says, it's like worse than COVID. And we went during COVID, and it did remind me eerily of COVID. It was just feeling like, I don't know if I've been in Vegas on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning, it feels like that, but all the time. You know, it's just very, very empty. And so we were able to get restaurant reservations at the last minute anywhere we want. The tables were like $10, $15 tables instead of being $50, things like that. The platforms to go to dinner if you want to take the tram, like the free tram by the Aria, if you're familiar, completely empty, like eerily only people there. And so I saw this one family come up all excited, and I go, it's usually not like this, just so you know. It's just usually just jam-packed with people. You're fighting to get on the tram. But you know what, it's possible is they all took Ubers because there's nobody on the strip. So we ended up taking taxis and Ubers later because they can just go straight down the strip instead of having to go around the hotels and try to avoid traffic. There's no traffic. And so that's the way Vegas is. And it is, so anything that you see online about Vegas being dead, it is not propaganda. That is absolute truth. If it's like that on a Friday night during March Madness, which we go to March Madness in the past, we've been there for this time, it is usually just swamped with people. So I don't know, but things are already turning in the travel industry. So this is my story for today. I just thought I'd share that. Hope you're having a good day. Bye.
Stunning images of near-empty passenger planes are popping up on social media. These international flights have many tourists flying to the USA practically alone. Shauna Massengill flew from London to Chicago. Look, barely anyone on board.
It was really shocking. I've never been on a flight like that.
This flight from Toronto to New York is also practically empty. And a flight from Toronto to Fort Myers, row after row of empty seats. Here in California, international travel is predicted to decline by 9% this year, driven by higher tariffs imposed by the Trump administration and negative sentiment toward the U.S.
The drop in numbers of Europeans traveling to the U.S. is staggering, and depending on the country, it's down as much as 42% over last year. That's just Europeans not traveling to the U.S.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
The Trump administration has announced that they're going to be charging a visa integrity fee to every flyer coming to the United States. The fee will be $250, and it will supposedly be reimbursable to some people, but Trump is really doing everything he can to ruin the World Cup and really stop people from coming to enjoy the World Cup. Maybe he just wants Americans to be the only people actually going to the games. And if you're wondering, well, will this just be increase from other fees people have to pay? No, this will be a fee on top of every other fee. This is for non-immigrant visas, so tourists, business people, anything along those lines. If you have H-1B1 visas, you pay the H-1B1 visa fee, and then this other fee on top of that as well. Our tourism industry has already taken a massive hit this year due to ICE, and this is only going to make people less likely to come to the United States for tourism. The amount of money we're going to lose from this is going to be pretty massive for the tourism industry.
No, I'm not going to be traveling to the U.S. I would be more scared going to the U.S. at this time.
It is scary right now. It is a scary time for Canadians and everybody around. The orange guy, he's going to be the orange guy. Like, at the end of the day, Miami, like, we're going to go to Miami.
I wouldn't say I'm scared. I'm
a very big looking white guy, but I don't travel to the US. I don't have any plans to, and I don't want to.
I'm supposed to be going tomorrow night, and I'm a little nervous just because of all the things like going through your phone. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm going to be with my mom. So we're just two gals going to a concert. I'm sure we'll be okay. It's just for a couple hours, but I wouldn't want to like travel there right now to stay over.
I think it's kind of difficult not to go to America just because of the nature of my work, but also just there's amazing things there to see. I have friends and family that live in the US. And what's happening right now with the tariffs is awful and I think really divisive, but ultimately I will try to avoid to buy American products, but I don't know if I could avoid going there.
Do not travel to America. Do not travel to America for the next 4 years. You do not want to get caught up in Trump's deportations. I'm sure by now you've heard of the German and UK tourists who were arrested by ICE and detained for days. Allegedly, the German tourists were chained. You do not want that to be your story, especially if you are taking your family on holiday with you. Do not spend your hard-earned money on a country that does not appreciate you as a black or brown person. For the next 4 years, the world is your oyster. Maldives, Thailand, Bali, Hong Kong, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Jamaica. These are all amazing places. Let's not go to a country that's increasingly becoming lawless. A country where the president has no respect for the rule of law. A country where the president ignores federal judges. My family and I go to Florida every single year. We love Disney, we love Universal, but for the next 4 years, we're going to be going anywhere but. And I think that you should all do the same. Do not travel to America. Pass it on.
It may not be the best time for Irish citizens to travel to America at the moment. There have been various European tourists who have been detained in detention centres by ICE. I'm going to tell you about each of them and then I'm going to show you the pictures of the detention centres. And even Cabby Lame, a very famous TikTok influencer, was detained. Although he was granted voluntary departure, Jessica Brosch, a German tourist and tattoo artist, was detained for carrying tattoo equipment. And she was held for 6 weeks at Otte Messe Detention Center. Lukas Schlaf, another German citizen, was accused of breaching his 90-day stay. The answer to this agreement was misinterpreted, which led him to being held and detained for 16 days. Becky Burke, who is Welsh, had some visa issues and an unclear work status, which led her to being held for 3 weeks. Even a German-born US citizen who holds a green card was held for 2 months before his release in May. So what can cause you to be detained in the USA as a tourist? If you misstate anything about your visa, even minor technicalities are now taken into account. They do a routine search of your devices and your social media, and if you have ambiguous travel patterns. What can this mean for Irish citizens? Well, firstly, there is no privacy. Like, they will check your social media, they will check all of your devices. Legal protections are very limited. If you get denied entry, you cannot appeal that. It's important for Irish citizens to comply with the stricter entry laws to avoid detention. Now I'm going to tell you about the detention centres. Detainees report being given mouldy food, dirty mattresses and used underwear. There is huge overcrowding and medical neglect, isolation from legal support, and a lack of transparency and oversight. Remember guys, if you want to travel to the US, make sure you comply with their new travel laws.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how people, they have started to boycott the tourists. They are not going to America, and all this is because of how America, we are seeing they are treating migrant people, because we have been seeing how Americans they have been detaining immigrant people, especially those illegal immigrants. We have been seeing how they are deporting them to their country without nothing. So because of how America, they are detaining people, how they are deporting people, it has made majority of people to fear not to come to America. And that's why you are seeing American airport, they are empty, and also the and also the tourist area, we are finding it that majority of people, they are not right now going to the American tourist area, and because of that, it has made some of the locals life to become a little bit difficult, because those people who were depending so much in the tourists, right now they are experiencing a low numbers of tourists visiting their site, their tourist area. So because of that, we'll be seeing majority of Americans, they will be losing jobs. We'll be seeing majority of Americans who are at the hotels, the tourist hotels, where people usually go and see, they will start to reduce workers, and because of that it will lead to majority of people in America to lose more jobs. And all this, it is because of how the MAGA people voted against their own interest. So I want to read some of the comment here, and also you can share your thoughts on the comment section and I'll be reading it. So there's someone here is saying that FIFA removed the World Cup from the hell hole now. So also we saw the FIFA World Cup also. They removed it was supposed to happen in America, but FIFA World Cup, because of how America it has been treating immigrant people, also FIFA World Cup decided not to bring a World Cup in America. So they moved World Cup to another country. So this one is saying that a little bit of nationalism, you have got to be kidding. We used to go to the US a lot. Never again. It is a scary place with the Gestapo running around grabbing people and shipping them off to Gulage. So you can see this one saying that so many people, they used to go to America, but right now, because of how people that are being deported back to their country, how people that are being detained in America, it has made them also not to go in America. So this one is saying that America 2025 pay $250 to get strip searched, interrogated and overcharged for a bottle of water. Tourists said no thanks to dystopia cosplay with a resort fees. You wanted to be a fortress, now you are just empty broke. So this one is saying how America, they have been treating people, but right now things have really changed. So this one is saying that Canadian here traveling to South America in September, I did everything to avoid doing a stopover in the US. It is not safe. Yeah, so this one is saying that in US right now it is not safe. So this one is saying that I have traveled to 86 countries in my 70 years and I am proud to say that the USA is not one of them. So this one is saying that here is saying, I am a Canadian. I have a Thai wife. We had planned on a month-long tour of the USA this summer as she had never been there. We cancelled it. We have decided to never enter the US again. I will not even transit through the USA. There are so many wonderful and beautiful countries in the world. Why would I have any desire to enter a country that it is internationally regressing? I definitely wouldn't want my wife to try to enter the USA. Why would I risk her being abducted and disappeared by the US Gestapo or subject here to rampant the racism in the USA? I can't think of a single reason why anyone would want to enter the USA. I hope you guys lose your World Cup games and the 2028 Olympic as well. I know the level of education is low in the USA, but it is not excuse for their action. Yeah, so this one is saying how she wanted to go to United States to take her wife to United States, but with all abduction, all how ICE they are reporting people, he had to cancel that trip together with his wife. So this one is saying that Australian here, I visited America something like 15 times in my life. I was a journalist, but I'm retired now. Nevertheless, I will never ever make the mistake of visiting America again. So you can see so many people right now, they are really avoiding America at any cost. So this one is saying that Montreal here, and you can thank your 77 million MAGA voters who voted for this. Sorry, but I will never travel to US again. I am disgusted with the disrespected this leadership and its voters have shown us. So this one is saying that MAGA people, I hope they are happy because they are the ones who voted for this administration. So let me just read it, another one for you. Dutchman here, I had planned a vacation to the USA, but I cancelled it and go this year for the first time in my life to Canada. Canada and the Netherlands share a warm friendship since WW2. I think it's time to pay our Canadian friends a visit, elbows up. Yeah. This one saying, as a Canadian, thank you very much for making that decision. Nobody should be going to the state. Yeah, so this one is saying that boycott now. The pain has to be intense and now. So this one is saying that, sorry, USA used to be barely okay. Now it's not. Yeah, right now, United States, it is not. Okay, Canadian here. No Canadian I know will ever go back to the state. Damage is done. We are done. Elbows up. So this one is saying here, I live in Canada on the banks of the St. Lawrence River with the USA in sight on the other side. A few days ago, we drove back from Ottawa on a road which crossed a bridge to USA. Turning off just before the bridge, as I approached our turning, passing lot of sign about the approaching border crossing. My tension rose, fearing I would miss my exit and end up at the border. It was a horrible feeling. I have crossed that border many times before, but now I don't want to go anywhere near it. So this one is saying that low visa integrity fees because nothing says integrity like Trump America. This one is saying that who would have guessed tourists do not like being detained in an ICE garage. So every country now has some horror stories about imprisoned travelers. Yeah, exactly. So you can see how ICE they are detaining people, how ICE they are prisoning people. So this, it has made America to lose a lot of visitors, and America, they will continue to lose until these people they will now come back into sense, because the people who brought all these problems in the country, they are the MAGA people. So this one is saying that here in Puerto Rico, the airport is crowded with arriving passenger. Thank God I'm here. So you can see people are going to other countries. So this was saying that while I am a 60-year-old Welshman, married to a brown-skinned Muslim woman from Brunei, where I have lived for 14 years, and also converted to Islam. As I coach maggots on a daily basis online, I find it amusing. One glance at my social media will book me one-way ticket to Guatemala. Why would take a trip to the USA when I can fly to Singapore, Bell and Indonesian within 2 hours? I had wanted to see the state. I have never been. Guess I never will now. Enjoy your isolation, America. You earn it. So this one is saying how Americans, he wanted to go to America, but instead he is going to Singapore. So these are some of the response that majority of people, they have come out and share it. And also, guys, remember, you can share your thoughts on the comment section. I'll be reading it. So thank you so much, guys. Subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. I'll see you on my next one. Bye bye.